Welcome to the Etowah Valley.
You're listening to Etowah Valley Recordings, conversations and music from the Etowah Valley and neighboring Georgia towns. Hello everyone, greetings from Cartersville, Georgia. We like coffee and learning about gardening and learning about raising chickens up here. We've got 3 chickens, one named Cheyenne, one named Starry Night, and the last youngest was named Esme, short for Esmeralda, but turns out we have a rooster in the midst, and I guess we're going to have to say goodbye to Esme because we can't have more chickens. I moved up here to the Etowah Valley, a.k.a. Cartersville, about a year ago because I needed a change of pace and wanted to experience a little different lifestyle than I was used to there in Decatur and the surrounding areas of Atlanta. But it's been a great experience up here, and I'm trying to share some of that with you guys as well as bring some of the great talent of Georgia to the Etowah Valley. So welcome to Etowah Valley Recordings' very first official podcast. We have some fantastic talent to enjoy together, and I'm really happy that you've tuned in, and I hope you'll share this on your social media sites, etc. We have Dayshawn Mojica, a wonderful singer, songwriter, and we also have Wendlo, duo, husband and wife duo, and I think you're going to have a lot of enjoyment listening to both of them and hearing a little bit about them. Got a new website, a couple of new websites I'm launching, one for this podcast, the Etowah Valley Recordings, and a web page for my music, a place where I can share what I'm doing, and that is caymusic.com. And I'll be talking about that more. I've got a couple of new songs that I'm releasing. I just released a song called The Wind Howls, which is out there streaming and downloading off the usual suspects. And I've got a new song that is very close to completion. I'm going to have Steve Cunningham, an amazing guitar player, slide guitar player, mandolin player, songwriter. He's going to put some slide on that for me this week, and I think that'll be the final stages of that. So stay tuned for more music from me. But first off, we will be talking with Dayshawn Mojica. He's just wrapped up doing his part on a multi-continent tour. But today we talk with Dayshawn, the artist, about growing up with a musician grandfather, his move to Atlanta that helped boost his career, and the song he wrote about the city he now loves.
I grew up upstate New York in the capital of New York, Albany, Schenectady area. I grew up in church, and my grandfather was a guitar player, was a part of a lot of old school blues bands, and I actually grew up living with my grandparents, so I would see some of his guitars laying around or his super cool suits and shiny white shoes in the closet, and he had like a Flying V sky blue guitar. So that was my first, like, holy shit, what is that, So when I first started out and got going with doing my own thing, early teenage years, both of my grandparents were still alive, and both of them passed at this point, but they both did get to see me just kind of kick it off as a young kid, not knowing what I was doing. And I started wanting to get more into touring, and a couple of my friends had moved here maybe 5 years before me, and their career started taking off. They were, playing guitars and drums and everything for all these huge names. And I just thought to myself, it wasn't really happening for me upstate New York. Not much happens upstate. You got to go into the city, or, the old saying is sometimes you got to leave where you're from.
You got so much pride.
This was my first single I put out as soon as I moved to Atlanta. Actually, it's called Atlanta. This was the easiest song I probably ever wrote in my life because it was literally all genuine. I just was talking about my experience here. Like I moved here, and almost like I discovered a whole new world. It's about me coming here and just getting my mind blown, and me singing about my love for it, for my experience.
Atlanta, Atlanta, you are so beautiful.
But I wanted to focus on the story in the song and not go full blast. Some of the other songs you can check out on iTunes or wherever, SoundCloud as well, like Change the World.
You and me, baby girl, and we gon' change the world, baby. Don't you know I promise?
Those are like full blast rock and roll, funk, go crazy guitar solos. This is really like, I'm telling you a story, and I want you to hear all the words. So, yeah. This song is dedicated to the city that changed my life, Atlanta.
I love your skyline. I love your bright lights, how you light up at night. And I love your culture. All of the people, every color, shape, and size. You took me in and you said, welcome home. Called me your son. You said I'm never alone. No, Atlanta, Atlanta, you are so beautiful tonight. You've got so much pride, strength built from history that no one could ever deny. The city where all my dreams came true. I'm singing every night and it's all because of you. See, when you took me in and you said, welcome home. You called me your son. You said I'm never alone. No, Atlanta, Atlanta, you are so beautiful tonight. Come on. And oh, I love you. I was dreaming of you. Oh, I've waited for so long, but I'm finally here. I am finally here. You took me in and you said, welcome home. Called me your son. You said I'm never alone. No, and you took me in and you said, welcome home. Called me your son. You said I'm never alone. You took me in and you said, welcome home. Called me your son. You said I'm never alone. No, Atlanta, Atlanta, you are so beautiful tonight. Atlanta, Atlanta, you are so beautiful inside.
That's Dayshawn Mojica and with Atlanta. That's a great song, man. And,
Thank you.
He's a upstate New York man, now a son of Atlanta. Do you have any website?
Yes. You can
talk
go
about-
to www.dayshawnx, that's DAYSHAWNX.com, or you can just visit Instagram and Facebook, and that is DAYSHAWNX on all social media outlets and in music stores.
The Etowah Valley.
Next up, we have with us Wendlo, the husband and wife duo of Jacob Hamilton and Chelsea Hamilton. Jacob and Chelsea have been playing together since they started in Chelsea's basement in Anchorage in 2013. So my first question is to Jacob. I can see that Chelsea's hometown is Anchorage, but I'm wondering what brought you to Alaska and why you were playing music in Chelsea's basement.
Well, I had some friends who were from Anchorage originally that moved to my hometown of Lawrenceville, just north of Atlanta, and they decided a few years later, after we'd become friends, to move back to Alaska, and they invited me to come with them, and I was like, hey, why not? I'm 21. That sounds like a good idea.
Chelsea, what was it like growing up in Alaska? Do you miss it?
It was great. Yeah, I definitely miss it. Living somewhere else now, I realize how much I took it for granted. It's beautiful all the time. People are kind of wild there. My entire family's there, so of course I miss it. But it's always really good to go back.
When they, find out we're married and they're like, oh, that's so cool. You guys play music together or whatever. That's just that must be the most rewarding thing ever. That's so cool. And I'm like, yeah, it's actually more like boxing. And sometimes it sounds good.
I got my first guitar when I was like maybe 8, and I didn't know how to play it for a long time. But I always liked songwriting. I know that. I used to write songs when I was little, just not to anything, just so to have a melody and some lyrics. It wasn't until high school when I started playing and learning the guitar, mostly for the purpose of writing songs. I didn't really care about the guitar that much as I cared about having some accompaniment to like singing,
Talking to myself again. Words don't give me no rest.
I kind of always had this sort of like shy, standoffish almost relationship with musical instruments. If I'd go to someone's house and see a guitar in the corner, I'd be like, they have that thing. So I actually got my first guitar for my 10th birthday, and I tried to tune it and I broke the string, and so then it just sat there pretty much until I was 13, and then I took some lessons, and a couple months after that I was like, well, I guess if I'm going to try to play, I should try to sing too, because a lot of people do that. So
most of the songs we've written, we started separately or had the structure and then brought it to the other and then worked on it.
I was going to say we've started and finished 1.5 songs.
Yeah. The one song that we've started and finished together is everyone's favorite song. Well, not everyone's, but it's our favorite song, I think.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of comments on it. So that's really promising. We didn't think we could co-write together. The process is that one of us maybe has an idea, I guess, a theme, a melody, a guitar part or something, and then we just kind of try not to be insecure and say stuff. That's basically how it goes.
This is actually the song that Chelsea was referring to earlier as being the one that we started and finished together. And I say those two things separately because it being the song that we've written together, it started about 2 years before it finished. But
yeah, we just had an idea.
I think that's kind of...
we didn't work on it for 2 years.
Right, we didn't. It kind of sat in the closet. But, even that, everything that you can say about the process of writing the song has a poignancy to it as it relates to our relationship, because there was a time when our relationship was actually on hold for a while, and so this song kind of had that same sort of life cycle, and it kind of details a little bit of that time. But the song is called Better Man Now.
Stay with me now. We've already covered so much ground. I might have to win you over again. Late at night when I call on my senses, lay my troubled head down. Will you believe when I've made my confession? I'm a better man now. my mind. How you changed my own mind. Now I know you're mine, but I might have to win you over again. And you know I do it all over again. Late at night when I call on my senses, lay my troubled head down. Will you believe when I've made my confession? I'm a better man now. When we started, we almost fell apart and we got carried away. You're my first love.
You'll be the last one.
Let's get carried away. Late at night when I call on my senses, lay my troubled head down. Will you believe when I made my confession? I'm a better man now. I'm a better man now. Wow. Dude, y'all are amazing. Thanks.
The Etowah Valley.